Hi folks, I'm here with David Kershaw, our Director of Data and Analytics. We're just, a number of our clients are talking about data strategy as we come out of the lockdown and start to look towards the sort of post-pandemic era. And I know we've seen the latest MarTech landscape report, there's 8,000 MarTech vendors. And I know that's cause for concern. We think people might be making a kind of fundamental mistake with their data strategy. So what are we worried about and what might that mistake be?
Yeah. So I think the fundamental issue is that marketing databases aren't fit for purpose, and I think we need to identify the true challenge with this, and that's that we're the access that we've got to accurate data is not where it should be, and there are a lot of tools out there focused on data, data management, data enrichment, data insight, and it's a hard landscape to navigate. And I think there's some fundamentals, some basics that could be put in place that will actually get you much better gains than focusing on some of these siloed bits of MarTech.
Right. Yeah, it's quite a sort of stark assessment in a way, isn't it, that most marketing databases aren't fit for purpose. But can you just explain a bit about why that is, what the problems there in getting accurate data that's fit for marketing purpose?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is around ownership. So it's typically not owned. It's not owned between sales and marketing. You've got a CRM platform. You'll have CRM admin teams that are responsible for kind of user permission, sales setup, but nobody's typically responsible for the data that sits inside that and maintaining and governing it. I think the other challenge that we have is around people's understanding of the data sources that are available. Would people understand how to build a reference database that they can use as the starting point? How do you go about doing that? And various different data sources out there. So DMB is one. DMB, great coverage, huge coverage. But if you break it down fundamentally, what they maintain is a financial structure of a business, and it's not really fit. It's not a sales and marketing database, and confusing to navigate unless you've got loads of experience with that. Experian, you probably say the same. Market location, telephone research, probably more accurate than DMB and Experian, but don't have some of the more interesting firmographic data points like growth, number of sites, things like that. You've then got typically enterprise databases, so telephone research databases, good accuracy in there, but don't cover the SMB market. You've then got kind of your more specialist databases, so things like fleet data, channel and partner databases. So understanding that environment takes a bit of time, and you really need to spec out your requirements to understand which one or which combination of those you use to create your reference database. And the reference database is something that you then will use to challenge your CRM platform, to challenge your marketing automation platform. So you can then start to put a roadmap together to understand how you improve that and how you improve the data within CRM.
Yes, and that difference between Dun & Bradstreet and Experian, where you've got a database that's built on financial records and versus one that's designed specifically for marketing. You just unpick that a bit, because that was quite an eye-opener for me, what the differences are and what it actually means for your marketing.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the data sources that they will use is Companies House. So you can register a business on Companies House. You can go on there today, create a business, you choose your SIC code. So the person who sets it up actually chooses what industry that is. The list is quite outdated, to be honest with you. So you've got, some of these large organizations, so Barclays is a good example, have got really complex kind of hierarchy within them. And a lot of the companies that are there are set up for financial purposes. So they're not, they haven't got operational contacts against some of them. They will sit at various different levels within that. But all of these different organizations will have different SIC codes, different industry values, different employee numbers, different revenue figures. So you might find actually that you've got Barclays sat with 200 employees. Well, in actual fact, it's much larger than that. So it's very tricky to understand. There isn't anything that can tidy it up, really.
So yeah, so you might be sitting there like you're essentially trying to market to financial structures instead of decision-making units.
Exactly right.
Is that fair?
Exactly right.
And you've got a view which you think is your addressable market, which probably isn't a good view of it.
Yeah, I mean, no, duplicated. No, Barclays is good. There are probably 200 different organisations within D&B's data set for Barclays. So no, it gives a wrong impression of your true market, your target addressable market.
And so the right solution is typically going to be a blend of those things you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is a blend, and I think I'm talking specifically about businesses. It's a starting point. Now you look at your account universe first, and then you can decide, how do I get contacts into my business universe? Now you could use D&B, you could use Experian. They typically, contact-wise, quite generic contacts. There are other data sources out there that focus specifically on IT. So IT decision makers across things like applications, networks, infrastructure. Then you've got the consideration of GDPR. Now, how have you interpreted GDPR? Is it legitimate interest? What's your take on legitimate interest? So loads of different considerations. But yeah, the answer is it's speccing out what you want, being clear on that, and then starting, selecting possibly a combination of those data sources.
Good, yeah. And so I guess that fundamental mistake that we talked about at the beginning, that's people getting excited about the marketing technology and the new kind of sources of behavioral data like intent that you can add to your data set, and kind of starting to run off with those without actually fixing that issue.
Yeah, because it's not as flash, it's not it's not as exciting on if you look at it in a certain way. But the truth is that if you get it right, I believe you'll have much better results. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? If you can actually properly size your market and have confidence that when you create a segment of retail banks over a certain size and you're going after certain individuals, if you can do that, and if you're confident with that, then you will have better results with your marketing.
Good, yeah. Good, a good message to finish on. I think now's the time to do it. Certainly, hopefully there's a good opportunity, window of opportunity to sort it out once for all.
I think so. Yeah.
Good. All right. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, David. Thanks.